Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, Bob.
This is indeed a disturbing universe.
Hello, greetings, and welcome. Welcome to the Stereo 999 YouTube channel. I am your host, the artist formerly known as Stereo Steve. How's everybody doing out there? I got another video out here. I'm really not entirely sure what's going to happen in this video. I kind of hit a brick wall working on that reverse alphabet project. It is going to continue. But I'm kind of drowning in clutter, and I have to figure out how to get my way out of this corner that I've backed myself out into. And last week I joined the contest, and that gave me some good ideas for stuff to talk about. And I got a few odds and ends I'm going to throw in this video. There was a thread I saw a few people participate in, which is 10 songs that you hate. And I don't know. There's so much negativity disguised as cleverness, and I don't know if I really want to participate in that. I mean, sure, there's songs I hate, Playground in My Mind, Like a Virgin, Everybody Wants to Rule the World. But what would be the point of going on a tirade about stuff I don't like, except to piss off people who do like it, And so I don't know. I mean, I thought we were all in this racket to show stuff that we like that maybe not everybody knows about. But it was interesting. It was interesting to see. I mean, even when it was songs I liked, or songs that I was just kind of indifferent about, to see somebody like passionately dislike, and not everything is good. Seriously though, I mean, there's stuff I used to hate that I've revisited and reevaluated and changed my opinion on. Anyway, on with the show.
Yeah, I'm not really looking for any holy grails or anything. I'm just gonna go and see what I can see. And the adventure begins. You're either on the bus or off the bus, right? Okay, so let me elaborate. So today is September 15th, and a million years and several personalities ago, it was the September 15th. I ran into a long-lost friend who disappeared across the face of the earth. And I thought, hey, maybe September 15th is a lucky day. So a year later, I decide, I'm going to leave the house on September 15th. And I went to an event that kind of sucked, but that's beside the point. I also found a Holy Grail record for like $1. And then the next year after that, I sold my guitar amp because I was really broke on this year. And on September 15th, I found another guitar amp for incredibly cheap at a garage sale. So I'm like, maybe I'll just make a superstition out of it. This day is good luck, and if I go out, I'll find something cool. And I'm gonna see if I find anything today. I figure that would be a lame excuse for a video, since my idea deficit is barrel scraping to this point. But anyway, one more bus and I will reach my first destination on this quest for fun, as Clark Griswold would say. There's somebody selling records across the street. Maybe he's got something good.
We're on a bridge, Charlie. We're here.
Thrill House Records. Yes, here we are at the legendary Thrill House. Let's see if they got any good record store day stuff left. Well, I've heard of them. That's one of those English groups. Okay, so I just went to that one store because I kind of spent my budget in that one store. I don't know if I really had any miracles happen, but I did find one sort of kind of grail I was looking for, and I filled some holes in my collection. So I got this stack of records. I'm going to start with the heaviest record and work my way down to the cheesiest record. So it'll just gradually get more cheesy as I go down the stack of records I got today. This is Jizome Detestation, a Japanese metal hardcore insane record that I had no idea was reissued, but looks like Relapse did a reissue of it, and it has one of my all-time favorite songs on it, which is called Endless Blockades for the Pussyfooter. I don't know if it really says when it originally came out, but sometime in the 80s. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to find this. It wasn't as expensive as some of the other stuff that I passed on. Punks is hippies. Iron Butterfly Ball, because I have Heavy and Inagata Devita and Metamorphosis, and this is the other one from the classic period of Iron Butterfly. So yeah. Jesse Winchester, 1972, singer-songwriter, and I already had this, but this is a white label promo with a little hype sheet on it, and it was only $1, so I couldn't really pass that up. Just probably take the plastic off of these so they don't reflect that much light back in the camera. This is a compilation called Crossroads on the Warner Special Products label. As you know, I'm a big fan of their compilation albums. This one I had in the past, and this was a very useful record for bar DJing. Just a tasty selection of 60s tunes. And I thought, I kind of have a history with this record, and I should have a copy of it, because I think the other one I just left at the bar. Chicago 9, Chicago Greatest Hits, a quadraphonic pressing of Chicago Greatest Hits. And it's even got that gold quadraphonic label. And the Columbia Records SQ quadraphonic system records, those play totally fine on a regular record player, and even if you don't have the 4-speaker system that was
quadraphonic back in the day, you get a different mix. I almost didn't get it, but then I thought, what if you're like agonizing about not getting it because you didn't get it? This is The Babies with John Waite. This is their first album from 1978. This is another one I always used to pass on because I didn't really know any of the song titles. But I listened to a bit of it, and it seems to rock a little bit harder than their later albums that had their hits. So that's kind of cool. And Hall & Oates. This is their second album, their first on RCA. This is the album that has Sarah Smile on it. And yeah. All right, and the cheesiest record in the stack. Still got the shrink wrap on it. Shrink Wrap to Infinity. This is Old Fashioned Love Song by Billy Vaughn. And this is a lounge music guy. This is another dollar record. This is a lounge music. Instrumental versions of Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, Superstar, Peace Train, and You Got a Friend. And yeah, you know, I miss the Muzak in the grocery stores. But, you know, I can make my home a grocery store with this jam. All right. So, after the break, another segment that I filmed a while back and didn't use with even cheesier records than these. So stick around.
I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue.
I'm only gonna tell you one time. So let's just get into it. I'm gonna start with this. This was like in my trade pile, and now I'm thinking I might just keep it. This is the Now generation, and they're on the Spar label out of Nashville. Came out probably in 1969. So what this thing is one of those straight to bargain bin cover band records that they used to make in the 60s. You know, they just went straight to like the record dump bargain bins, like in grocery stores or drugstores, or just, you know, the discount bargain bins. And I remember the way my mom explained these records to me when I was a kid was, she said, yeah, you know, we'd buy these cover band records to bring to parties so we didn't ruin our good records. So this is, yeah, so Now Generation was one of those cover bands. And as you see, they're doing Get Back, In the Ghetto, Aquarius, Grazing in the Grass, kind of the hits of the day. And this guy here might just be Jimmy Buffett, because he worked on these records. He worked for this label like just very early in his career. And I didn't think I had any Jimmy Buffett records, but there we go. Okay, and I learned an important lesson. Over the weekend, which is do not go record shopping after day drinking, because I ended up buying fucking Starship. We built this city on rock and roll, which was voted the worst song of all time, but it's not really the worst song of all time. You know, I mean, I find just that cheesy 80s sound just kind of comes in handy to create a vibe these days. And so this album just totally fits the bill. This is Starship, knee deep in the hoopla. And produced by Peter Wolf from Jay Giles' band. And yeah, so this is the 80s Starship lineup. Grace Slick, Craig Chiquiso, who went on to do some new age music, and the frontman at this time was Mickey Thomas, who sang on Elvin Bishop, Fooled Around and Fell in Love. And We Built This City was written by Bernie Taupin, who is Elton John's co-songwriter. So that's kind of interesting. And you know, being in San Francisco, the city is built on rock and roll, which explains the earthquakes. I found one that I was actually kind of looking for a while. This is Faithful by Todd Rundgren. And I don't know, maybe in a similar vein to Bowie's Pinups, because the album is called Faithful, and the whole first side of this record is cover songs. Covers of the Beach Boys, the Yardbirds, Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, and the Beatles. And I think that's the joke, is they're faithful renditions of the songs. The second side is all original songs that, you know, pretty much fit the mid-70s Todd Rundgren kind of vibe. And the sound is a little bit over-compressed because he's trying to cram 27 minutes of music on each side of the record. And, you know, you can't really put more than 20 minutes on one side of a record without rolling off the bass and compressing it and losing sound quality. So I guess he was ahead of his time, that if this came out on CD, he wouldn't have that problem. Let's see. The Quake FM 99, that was here in the Bay Area. That was the new wave radio station that we had back in the 80s from about, they only lasted a few years, but they were kind of a legendary radio station. They went from about 1983 to 1986, if I'm correct. And yeah, they were, I mean, because we always had college stations like KUSF, CalX, and then KPFA and KALW playing some adventurous music late at night. But this was the first like commercial, like new wave modern music kind of station. And this has some bands, I guess local, like Flying Tigers, Uptones, Voice Farm. And the song I really remember the most from hearing on the radio back in the day, Christian Boy by Robert Seidler. No more scooter rides in the cemetery. All right. You know, I always saw this record, and this is the Knack, but the little girls understand. This is the Knack's second album, and it's got the song Baby Talks Dirty, where they're kind of trying to follow up on the success of My Sharona, because it has the same beat. You know, I remember people back in the day were just getting sick of these guys. There were little buttons you could buy that said Nuke the Knack with a little K, Canuck the Knack. But somebody on the radio played both of Baby Talks Dirty and My Sharona at the same time and flipped back and forth, and it's like, yeah, okay. But for a buck, you know, Rory Gallagher was lacking in my collection. The only thing I had from Rory Gallagher was the first Taste album on CD. And I was in a thrift store, found this. I was stoked to have some good Rory Gallagher, Irish bluesy guitarist from the 70s. And this is nice. This is nice. It's got some good jamming songs on this. It's from 1973. Another thing that was lacking is in my collection is Kenny Loggins. All I had is the Caddyshack soundtrack, and I picked up this Loggins and Messina on stage live because it's got a couple of my favorite songs by them, Angry Eyes and Your Mama Don't Dance, and it's got a long jam that takes up an entire side. So this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. This is one, you know, it's 1974, but you know, just another one of those 2-record live albums that was kind of a staple of the 70s. So yeah, so these are records I just picked up recently, and so yeah, so now this segment is filmed and I can just stick it wherever. Okay then, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, and peace.
God damn it, baby, no, I ain't lying to you. I'm only gonna tell you one time.
That's it, I'm getting out of here.